What we have seen here in our region is that despite, let's say, better knowledge and despite better technology, we haven't seen the amount of pesticides being used coming down or the amount of synthetic fertilizers coming down, rather the opposite. Now we have an agreed target now that we want to reduce the use of hazardous pesticides by 50%. That's an agreed political target. But the argument that we kind of need that high input of chemical pesticides, of synthetic fertilizers, that argument has been used based on that fear that we need that to kind of sustain ourselves, to produce enough food, even though the very input is degrading our soils, which on the long run might actually
What will be the consequence if I use more pesticide? Is there a punitive action for that?
Sorry?
What will be the consequence? Suppose I am a farmer and I use much more pesticide than what you asked me to do. Is there punitive action for that?
Well, I mean, there's certain pesticides that can be used and that cannot be used, and now we have targets to reduce the use of pesticides, but the one problem is that this argument that we need that high input is needed to produce the amount of food that we need, even though we know on the long run it's actually undermining our ability to produce enough food on the long run. So you said you're advocating for a higher organic material percentage in the ground. So can you say a bit more about how your campaign will for instance, support and work with farmers to kind of also increase their knowledge and their capacity, for instance, to use natural pest control, and what needs to be done to control the amount of input?
See, in India, for example, there is a company with whom we have been working, which is one of the largest companies, which is making biopesticides, which is organic kind of pesticides. One of the things that they're doing is, they're taking neem seed, you've heard of the neem tree, the neem seed oil, and using that, it is quite effective. But they've been collecting neem seeds all over the country, but they don't have enough neem seed in the entire country. Even if they gather it from everywhere, it's simply not enough, and it doesn't even fulfill 2% of the requirement, pesticide requirement in the country. So we want to grow the neem seeds. They're asking people to grow, but nobody wants to dedicate land to neem trees because a neem tree takes minimum 20–25 years before it becomes reasonable size. It's a very slow-growing tree. So people came up with hybridized neem trees. Those neem trees don't have the same bitterness in their seeds, so it doesn't work. So I'm saying there are many complex issues. Even if you intend, a lot of things cannot be done overnight. But one thing we can definitely do is enhance the organic content. If you enhance the organic content, need for fertilizer will definitely start sliding down. Pesticide, I feel the simplest way to do this is, if you convert the entire region into a certain kind of farming. Right now, I am doing organic farming, you're doing regular farming and we are neighbors. Once you spray, all your insects don't die, they all come to me. This is what is happening, because we are not converting an entire region. If an entire region gets converted, there are ways to do it. But when individual farmers go for it, they pay a huge price. And above all, farm economy is such a fragile thing. If you mess with it a little bit, the whole thing will collapse for the farmer. The highest number of suicides in the world is among the farming community. Both in India, in United States, people were saying even in Europe, in some of the countries, it is the highest for all the other professions. So this is happening because we are not understanding how hard and fragile it is to be on the farm. We need to address that. That's why I'm saying there must be incentives. If you raise the organic content, there must be incentive. Let's say you raise it to 3%. See, right now in the marketplace, they are saying this apple is organic. What is the other one? Is it inorganic? Is there something like that? Is it the same apple that Adam ate, that things went bad for him? So, the important thing is, if you say this is organic, what is it you're trying to say? you're trying to say either no pesticide and no fertilizer has been used, which I doubt most of the time. But if it is so, it's great, but that is going to be very limited produce, it's not going to serve the world. It is only going to serve 1% of the elite in the world. It will not serve the larger requirement. But instead of branding it as organic or inorganic, if you brand it as, let's say my field has 3% organic content. If I say this apple comes from a field which has 3% organic content, there is enough science to tell you, for 3% organic content field, what are all the extra micronutrients that will be there in that? And there's enough science to tell you, because of these extra micronutrients, what are all the benefits that you have in terms of health, in terms of preventive health, in terms of psychological health, what are the benefits? Suppose my field is 6% organic content, what are the benefits? There is enough science. So first thing is to give an incentive for farmer to raise this and make the incentive attractive enough so that farmers will voluntarily go for that. Next thing is, the industry and business should come in to make sure the farmer who raises the organic content gets the carbon credit and extra income happens. And the next thing is, in the marketplace it will find its own level and it must be valued by the people. Now if you buy a 6% organic content field, if you buy the apple, it may be 5–10% more expensive. But instead of eating 5 apples, 1 apple will do, because you will get the same nutrients. That's what they told you. 1 apple could keep the doctor away, not 8.